Today, we'll hear about a superhero visiting sick children, a woman who found her lost teddy bear, which contained her mother's voice, and an officer sitting down with a homeless man to eat dinner. Plus, much, much more on this first edition of Bryce's Optimistic Outlook.
We find joy in every month, none of that depressing stuff. Stories of happiness, stories of fun. Bryce's Optimistic Outlook on July 2020.
Hello, and it's Bryce Life 14 here with this first edition of Bryce's Optimistic Outlook. This is a surprise! Hooray! I was supposed to do it, and I didn't do it, and now I'm gonna do it because I feel we really need some optimism. So I've scoured the web for some optimistic stories, and let's get right into it. First story, a family sells their London home to move to the smallest African country to save the coral reefs. They launched a charity team, teamed up with local biologists to revitalize the coral reefs in the area that were devastated by the rising temperatures in the ocean. And this will be the only the second of its kind, the other one being in the Great Barrier Reef in Australia. I don't think most of us could do that. That is amazing. Going from your normal life, moving out to the smallest African country to save the coral reefs. They are hoping to replenish the estimated 250,000 individual corals that have already been lost in the seas and reefs in the Seychelles archipelago. Don't know how to pronounce that, but it's, I don't know how they could do that, but that is amazing. Let's go to our next story. A Muse dad films adorable wild critters playing on his kid's playset. He's an English wildlife photographer, and he bought a secondhand playground for his daughters, and of course they're the only ones who are going to use it. I mean, who else is going to use it? Well, actually, over the course of the last few years, he, his name is Robert Fuller, he has spotted, lots of different animals and wildlife playing on the playset. And so he's gotten weasels, hedgehogs, badgers, owls, deer, songbirds, and a family of stoats. And he put cameras all over his playsets and filmed it all. So here's a short clip. How adorable. That is very cute. All right, to the next story. A 70-year-old man who worked as a carpenter, he got injured, and so he could not have his job, so instead he had to push a cart around Chicago, selling frozen pops. Some people came along, and they bought all of the frozen pops from him, and then put up a GoFundMe campaign, hoping to raise $10,000. Instead, they raised $62,000 for this man. Oh, that is just amazing. It says that the man said, "I don't like to sit at home doing nothing without a purpose, but I don't have enough to ever be able to thank the family who have done this for me. It made me so happy." Here's the clip. All right, next up, you ever want to eat your straws? Well, now you can. Eco Straws has been launched. Edible straws. This is to help stop plastic straws, so they're not stopping plastic from polluting the oceans and wild areas. And they have 4 types: coconut straws, made from fermented coconut water; rice straws, made from rice and tapioca starch. It's plant-based. And there's dried grass straws, made from naturally tube-shaped grass and available in green. And sugarcane straws, made from sugarcane. So now you can eat your straws. Every one of you out there who like to eat straws, now you can, without getting sick. I hope none of you eat straws. And next up, a superhero brings smiles to 100,000 sick children and families. He dresses up as superheroes and then goes to people who are sick and makes them happy. He's gone in all 50 states doing this. And he says, "They don't even call me by my real name anymore. It's just Spidey or Spider-Man." Next up, the search engine Ecosia, I don't know how to pronounce it, but it reached its 100 millionth tree planted. It's a search engine that every time you search something, it's like Google, that's a search engine. Every time you search something in Ecosia, I'm just going to pronounce it like that, it gives money to plant a tree. And now they have reached their 100 millionth tree planted. And besides planting trees, they have built their own solar power station to energize 200% of all of the power required to run their servers. They also said they will never sell their company because no one will ever become rich from their efforts except Mother Earth. This next story is about a boy who was abandoned. His name is Tony. After he was born, his parents gave him up for adoption. He spent a few years in foster care before being adopted at age 4. But those parents left him in a Charlotte, North Carolina hospital when he was 11 and never returned. And a few days later, Peter Mutabazi, I don't know how to pronounce it, but Peter, we'll just call him Peter, received a call asking for him, because he did foster care, and they asked him to take care of Tony. Once he was told Tony's story, he said, By that time, I was crying. I thought, who would do that? So then, after he had been in foster caring him, he adopted him because he just loved the boy so much. And they like to watch movies, play board games, read, um, go bicycling, and so much more. You ever want your dog to talk? Well, these people sort of made it happen. They have a soundboard. There are little buttons, and they taught their dog to press them, and they all have different phrases or words on them. So he's learned 45 different English phrases, and he can press play and I love you, mommy, and lots of other things. So you ever want your dog to talk? Talk to these people, because they made it happen. I don't know if they'll make it happen for you, but it's possible. Your dog can sort of talk. And they're continually adding to the soundboard so the dog can say more and more things.
Who's that?
Oh, I love you too, Bunny.
Dad.
It's Dad. Where's Dad? Yay!
Good girl.
The Newquay Zoo in Cornwall, England has their penguins are getting bored. They're usually entertained by visitors and stuff. So they decided to give them a bubble machine. Next up, a single mom donated her lottery-winning money unanimously to a policeman who was wounded in the line of duty. She was on her last $7 and found a $1 bill in a grocery store parking lot. So she walked into the store and bought a lottery ticket and ended up winning $100. But even though she really needed that money, she decided to give it to a wounded Kansas police officer. Even though she did it unanimously, the police department tracked her and they wanted to give her their gratitude, their thanks for what she did. They ended up donating more than $145,000 for her family. Mara Soriano? Anyway, Mara had a very special teddy bear that was a Build-A-Bear teddy bear, and her mom's voice was recorded in it. She had lost her mom of cancer, and when she was moving to a new apartment, someone stole a bag that had electronics and the bear in it. She didn't miss the electronics, but she was really devastated that she lost the bear. It was posted online. It caught lots of people's attention. It was on many news reports, and actor Ryan Reynolds offered a $5,000 reward for if someone would bring it back. And eventually, someone brought the bear back, and she said, "I'm not gonna lie, I kind of buckled. As soon as I saw him pull her out of the bag, I just started sobbing, and I grabbed her out of his hands, and I couldn't let her go." So, a Red Lobster employee, while getting ready for their shift, found a blue-shelled lobster in the restaurant, and they recognized how rare it was. Only 1 in every 2 million animals has the blue coloration. And after the Red Lobster employee discovered it, he named it Claude. He contacted the Monterey Bay Aquarium, who then reached out to Akron Zoo. They took the lobster into their facility and they kept it, and they made a special place for him. They called it Claude's Man Cave. And then, 2 days later, something kind of funny happened. Turned out Claude was actually a girl. So it turned into Claudia. And instead of Claudia's man cave, it was Claudia's she shed. Next up, a 96-year-old man who faced childhood poverty, went through World War II, and is now going through the pandemic, sailed through an exam, making him Italy's oldest university graduate. He graduated at age 96. So I've heard of this before. You go in a fast food restaurant and you decide to pay for the person behind you. This happened at a taco sombrero in Gulfport. And a driver paid for the person behind them. Then that driver paid for the person behind them. And that driver paid for the person behind them. And that driver paid for the person behind them. And it went on for 2 hours of paying for the person behind them. The cashier said, at first we were kind of shocked. We thought it would just be 5 cars maybe. Then it just kept going and we were like, whoa. Then one guy paid for a $40 order and we were like, whoa. Some people are really nice. This security guard went viral because he uses his umbrella to shield a dog from the rain. Someone took a picture of him and it went viral. He uses the umbrella designated for him that they gave him when it's raining. He has to stand outside in the rain. He gave it to the dog. What a cute photo. This story is about a police officer who pulled someone over for a brake light. Jesse McFadden, who's the one who was pulled over, I'll tell you what they said. So I'm on my way to go to my interview this morning in Montana. Then I get pulled over by a Montana police officer. Both brake lights decided to go out this time. As he walked to the car, I was pulling out my stuff and he quickly said, don't worry about pulling anything out. I just want you to know that your brake lights are out. So I'm immediately upset because I just got them replaced like last month. I explained to him how Firestone wants to charge me $600 just to run a test on the wiring of the car. He asked me to pop the trunk. He checked the lights in the trunk and tapped them, but they didn't come on. Then he asked me to pop the hood to check the relay box. Then he asked me to get out to check the other one. He worked on the wiring under the dash. He could have easily given me a ticket, but Officer Jenkins stepped out of his police officer role and into a mechanic role and really kind human role to make sure I was safe. By the way, he fixed them. So the police officer pulls him over for the brake light and then fixes it for him. That is some kindness right there. This next one is a picture that someone caught of a police officer who went out of his way to eat dinner with a homeless man in Lake City, Florida. What great kindness people show. This next one is quite a crazy invention that I think will be so helpful and is quite amazing. Bioengineers at UCLA have designed a high-tech glove that can translate sign language into speech in real time through a smartphone app. So there's sensors that run along the fingers, and they can identify each word and phrase or letter or whatever the sign language is. That is quite amazing. I think that would be so helpful for people who don't know sign language to understand people who only know sign language. People just are inventing such amazing things. Finally, I know this is a story from August 4th, but I couldn't help it. I had to put it in here. This school teacher made a Can't Touch This parody. Here's a clip from it. I'll put the link in the description.
Lysol can't be found. I've looked all around this town. I've had no luck, and these are the things you can't touch.
I'm gonna have that stuck in my head the rest of the day. All the links to all the stories and the videos are down in the description. Hope these made your day a little bit brighter. Before we end, let's spin the world of happiness and optimism. Show someone that you appreciate them. For example, make a card or call them. I got this on here good. There we go. Show someone that you appreciate them. That is my challenge for you this month. Have a great week. Bye. See you next time.
Bryce is optimistic outlook.